Welcome, chosen ones. You found your way here, and it's not by accident. You're part of a journey far deeper than the surface of this world can ever show you. Whether you've known it for years or are just beginning to realize it, there's a reason you feel different, set apart. There's a reason your soul has always longed for something more, something higher. And today we're going to talk about that, about you, about your journey, about the quiet transformation happening within you that not everyone can see, but you can feel. Have you ever looked back at your life and wondered why, as a child, you felt older than your years? Why you carried an invisible weight that others didn't seem to notice? You saw the world with eyes that were far more experienced than your age should have allowed. You didn't understand it then, but deep down, you knew you were different. You might have even struggled with this, being misunderstood, feeling out of place among friends, and perhaps even in your own family. But let me ask you this. What if those early struggles were never a mistake? What if they were preparing you for something greater? In today's video, we're diving into a topic that many of you may have lived through without realizing its significance. We're talking about why the chosen ones, those like you, often seem older and more mature in their youth, yet somehow younger as they grow older. We'll explore the inner battles you faced, the chaos that shaped you, the fears and anxieties that held you back, and how all of that was part of a divine plan. You might have felt lost in the beginning, your style and identity shifting, uncertain of who you were or where you were going. But over time, something inside you changed. God began working through you, quieting the storms, bringing peace into your heart. And as that peace grew, it began to show. Now you look in the mirror and see someone transformed, someone who carries the glow of inner strength, of purpose, of God's presence. This video will speak to the heart of that journey. We'll uncover why your appearance, your energy, and your spirit seem to age in reverse as you grow closer to the person God created you to be. So stay with me, because what you're about to hear might just be the confirmation you've been waiting for. There's something about you, something that has always set you apart from the very beginning. You carried the weight of the world in your eyes even when you were young. There was a maturity and inner wisdom that shone through your being, but it wasn't always understood. People looked at you, wondering why someone so young appeared to have lived through lifetimes of experience. Struggle. You weren't like your peers. You didn't laugh as easily. You didn't fit into the mold the world had shaped for you, and it left you feeling out of place, like you were searching for something you couldn't name. Many of you, the chosen ones, struggled with anxiety, fear, and even addiction. You tried to fill the void with things that couldn't satisfy the deep longing in your soul. The world around you was loud, chaotic, and you were always trying to find your footing. Your style, your identity, it shifted like the wind. One day, you wanted to be bold and seen. The next, you wanted to disappear. You carried the burden of feeling too much, too deeply. Friends your age couldn't grasp the depths of what you were going through. And your family, often they were just as lost in understanding you. It felt lonely, didn't it? You wore the weight of those years on your face, your body, the confusion, the battles with yourself, the constant misunderstandings, etched themselves into your skin. You may have looked older than your age, as if the soul inside you was showing itself on the outside before its time. You saw this, didn't you? In the mirror, you felt like you were living a life far beyond your years, tired before you even had the chance to truly live. There was a time when many of you looked in the mirror and didn't recognize the reflection staring back. You felt disconnected from your own appearance, as if you weren't enough, like the person you saw didn't match the beauty you hoped for or the strength you longed to embody. You didn't eat the right foods, maybe because you didn't care enough to nourish yourself, or perhaps you didn't know how. Your body didn't feel like home. It was a source of discomfort, a reminder of how far you felt from where you wanted to be. You knew deep down you weren't meant to be like everyone else, yet the desire to fit into a box, to be accepted, lingered in your heart. You wanted to be seen, to belong, even if that meant trying to mold yourself into something that wasn't truly you. The clothes never felt right, no matter what you wore, because you were never at peace with yourself. They clung too tight in some places, hung too loose in others, mirroring how you felt inside, uncomfortable, misplaced, and misunderstood. But all along, something deeper was stirring, a call to rise above, to step into who you were always meant to be. God has always had his hand on you, even in those dark, chaotic years when you felt lost. He was guiding you, molding you through the fire of obstacles, shaping you for a purpose far greater than you could see. You were chosen, beloved, though it didn't always feel that way. He let you walk through the storms because he knew what was waiting on the other side. And over time, something began to shift. Slowly, you started to find yourself. You learned to quiet the noise, to listen to the whisper of God within your soul. You realized that this body, this vessel, was not to be neglected or abused. You began to care for it, not out of vanity, but out of respect for what God had given you. You started nourishing it, not just with food and exercise, but with peace, with stillness, with love. The battles you once fought within your mind and heart began to fade. The confusion that once clouded your identity started to clear, and in its place, calmness, clarity, and a sense of self emerged. The anxiety that had once gripped you, the fear that had held you back, it all started to lose its power. You stopped looking for external things to fill the void, and instead you let God fill you with his grace, his strength, his purpose. And something remarkable happened. You began to look younger. The face that once showed the stress of trying to be everything the world wanted now glows with the peace of knowing who you are in God's eyes. The body that once carried the weight of confusion and turmoil now moves with grace and confidence. Your style isn't all over the place anymore. It's simple, it's authentic, it reflects the peace within you. You are not hiding behind trends or expectations. You are wearing the beauty of knowing yourself, and more importantly, knowing God. People see you now, and they notice something different. You are calm, unshaken by the world's chaos. There's a glow about you, a softness that only comes from someone who has walked through the fire and emerged purified. Your energy is magnetic, but not in the loud, attention-seeking way of the world. It's quiet, powerful, grounded in something deeper than flesh and bone. It's the light of God shining through you. You once felt misunderstood, like no one saw you for who you truly were. Now you don't seek to be understood by everyone, because you know that not everyone is meant to walk your path. You found peace in being set apart, in being chosen. The chosen ones, after all, are not here to blend in with the world. They are here to transform it. You may still feel different, but now you wear that difference with pride, with honor. You know that God has placed something within you that the world needs, even if it doesn't yet realize it. Yes, the journey wasn't easy. It took time. There were days when the burden felt too heavy, when the anxiety felt like it would swallow you whole. But through every moment, God was with you. He saw your tears, your struggles, your moments of doubt, and he whispered, "Hold on. I am making something beautiful out of your pain." And now here you are, standing in the glow of that transformation. As you've transformed, people around you have begun to notice. Some are drawn to your newfound peace, your glowing presence, and they admire the strength and beauty that radiates from within. They see the change, and it inspires them. But not everyone responds with kindness. Some are envious of your growth, threatened by the light that now shines from you. They may try to tear you down, to diminish the glow you've worked so hard to cultivate, but they can't touch it. The strength you carry is from God, and the glow of a good soul cannot be destroyed by envy or malice. It is a divine light that stands strong against any attempt to dim it. What they don't understand is that your transformation isn't just physical, it's spiritual. God's hand is on you, and no force can break what he has built within you. As we sit here now, in the presence of who we have become, we glance back at the images of our younger selves. We sift through those old photos, the ones we used to shy away from, the ones that once made us cringe or feel small. But now something is different. We see beauty in those faces, in those fragile bodies. We see strength in the eyes of the child or the young adult we used to be. How blind we were to the beauty that was always there, wrapped in innocence, cloaked in the struggle of finding ourselves. We look at those photos now, and the tears that fill our eyes are no longer from a place of shame or regret, but from love. How could we not have seen it back then? the beauty that radiated from us, even in our confusion, even when we thought we were lost. We see now how brave we were, standing in the middle of a world that never understood us. But still, we kept moving. We kept trying. And that's where the beauty lived. Not in the perfection of the surface, but in the strength that carried us through each day. Despite the weight we were bearing on the inside, we were so young, so fragile, and yet so strong. Those little bodies, those innocent minds, they knew nothing, yet they carried us through everything. The fears we battled, the anxiety that wrapped itself around us like a suffocating blanket. And still, we got up each day. We wore masks not to deceive others, but to protect ourselves from the judgment we feared. We thought the world saw right through us, but what we didn't know was that even then, God saw us for who we truly were. He saw the beauty we couldn't see in ourselves, and He stayed with us, guiding us even when we didn't know how to follow Him. Yet looking back now with the wisdom we've gained, we see those versions of ourselves not with pity, but with pride. How could we not? They were doing the best they could with what they knew. They were building us, shaping us, laying the foundation for who we would eventually become. They were fighting for us, for the future we're living now. They endured the sleepless nights of doubt, the endless struggles of trying to fit into a world that didn't seem to have a place for us. And now we stand here, stronger, wiser, and more at peace because of them. We owe them gratitude, those past selves of ours. They loved us more than we ever realized. They fought battles we barely remember, but battles that shaped our very souls. And now as we look back, we feel an overwhelming sense of love for them. They weren't perfect, no, but they were courageous. They carried dreams that they weren't strong enough to fulfill, but those dreams were never forgotten. They carried them for us, waiting for the day when we would be ready to take them into our own hands and finally make them a reality. We no longer need the approval of others because we know we are already loved, deeply, unconditionally, by the one who created us. And that love is enough. It always was. But even now, as we embrace this strength, we can't forget the younger versions of ourselves who got us here. They may have been filled with doubts and fears, but they were also filled with hope. They longed for the peace we now hold. They prayed in their own way for the life we are now living, and God heard those prayers. He heard them even when we thought He wasn't listening. Every tear, every cry for help. He was there, guiding us toward this very moment, even when we couldn't see the path in front of us. And now as we look forward, we carry the dreams of our past selves with us. We carry the lessons they taught us, the resilience they built within us. We carry the love they gave us, even when we didn't know how to love ourselves. And we carry the knowledge that God was with us through it all. He saw the beauty in us when we couldn't see it. He saw the strength we had, even when we felt like we were falling apart, and He never let go. So now we stand tall, knowing that the glow we carry is not just the result of our efforts, but of God's grace. He has shaped us, refined us, through every struggle, every hardship. And the glow we now wear is a reflection of His love shining through us. It's a light that cannot be dimmed by the opinions of others or by the struggles we still face. It is eternal, unwavering, because it is rooted in Him. We walk forward now with peace in our hearts, knowing that we are enough. We were always enough. And as we move forward, we do so with love, for the past, for the present, and for the future. We walk with God knowing that every step we take is part of His divine plan, and we are proud. Proud of who we were, proud of who we are, and proud of the journey that lies ahead. So to those of you who are still fighting those inner battles, who still look in the mirror and don't recognize the beauty staring back at you, take heart. You are stronger than you know, more beautiful than you realize, and God is with you just as He has always been. One day, you will look back just as we are now, and you will see it too. You will see the strength, the courage, and the beauty that was there all along, and you will be proud because you are becoming exactly who God created you to be. And that, dear one, is something no one can ever take away from you.